Hi everyone, and welcome to Squirrel Pie Productions. My name is Tommi. You can find me on Ravelry and Instagram as DynamiteTrujillo. Welcome to some episode of the podcast. I don't know. I forgot to write show notes. I spent the last hour or so kind of getting ready to record and getting everything set up and together. And because it's been so long since I've actually recorded a proper podcast, right when I was about to sit down and record, I was setting up my little pile of stuff next to me, which usually includes my show notes. And I was like, wait a minute, I'm missing something. I forgot to write show notes. I don't know what episode it is, but I'm happy you're here. Thank you for being here. If you're a new viewer, welcome. And if you are a returning viewer, a big welcome back. Like I said, I haven't recorded a proper episode in, I guess it would be a month. I generally record every 2 weeks, typically on a Friday these days, but for the whole month of October, I did Vlogtober. So if you're interested in watching any of that, go over to the playlist section of my YouTube channel's homepage and you can find a playlist of all of the Vlogtober episodes. I did do one episode in the middle of Vlogtober, but then I skipped the next one and I think I'm back on track. It doesn't matter, whatever. Anyway, so if you were keeping up on Vlogtober, if you watched any of it, participated in any of it, commented or whatever, thank you so much. I love doing Vlogtober. It was my second year doing it. Last year I did also do Vlogmas, and I've had some questions on whether or not I'm going to do Vlogmas as well. We're going to have to see. I don't know. I didn't decide beforehand that I was going to do Vlogtober. I just did it the first day, so I'm probably going to decide on the last day of November or the first day of December whether or not I'm going to do it. We'll see. But anyway, okay, no show notes. We're gonna see how this goes. I think I have admin. We have a make-along running right now in the Ravelry group and on Instagram. It's the flashy make-along where you can make anything that is flashy and showy and is a statement piece. All crafts are welcome. Go check out the chatter thread and the FO thread in the Ravelry group, which is linked below. I have show notes. They're down in the description box below. That's where you'll find links to everything I talk about in this week's episode. And you can also join in the Flashy Make-Along on Instagram using hashtag FlashyMAL. And you guys are making the most amazing things. I love seeing what you're making. Go check out that hashtag and the group. My house just made a really weird noise right above my head. What's in the attic? What are they doing up there? It's okay. It's probably just an adorable family of raccoons living in my attic. Who knows? I'm gonna move on. Maybe it's a ghost. But October's over. There shouldn't be any ghosts anymore. Anyway, check it out. It's fun. It's good. It's good make-along. Also, I keep forgetting to mention this. Gabby of Once Upon a Corgi is doing a very similar make-along. So if you're participating in mine, you should definitely double dip in hers. She is doing the swan along, and it's like the same concept. It's like anything you can swan around in. So it's like, you know, all your fancy stuff. So go check out her podcast, Once Upon a Corgi, and her make-along as well. Okay. What I'm wearing my Salal cardigan. This is a fantastic cardigan pattern by Andy Satterlin. I forget what I knit it in. Did I forget? Can I remember? This is why show notes are helpful, because I think about all this stuff beforehand and I check. It's Green Mountain Spinnery, New Mexico organic, which is, I forget what kind of wool it is, but I think it's breed specific. It's New Mexico organic merino, I think. And it's a DK weight yarn. And it's such a fantastic pattern. I've made a few Andy Satterlin patterns. As you may know if you've watched recent episodes, sometimes they don't work out for me, but this one, for whatever reason, it fit me perfect. It's the best Andy Satterlin pattern I've made. I love it so much. It's a cropped cardigan. See? And it's got this really awesome lace yoke, and I Found these buttons at my local yarn shop. They're like frosted plastic mauve buttons, and I love them. And it's got that length sleeve. I love this sweater. Okay, so I have kind of an FO, but I forgot it in my kids' room, so I'm gonna go get it. I'll be right back. So I had an FO, and then I lost one. But I made these baby mittens. Aren't they cute? So it's a tin can knits pattern. And they're the Bon Mittens. Yes, I remember stuff. And they're great. So they come in a whole bunch of different sizes so that you can make them for the whole family. I did the toddler size, and they fit Lucy wonderfully. She's about 15 months old, and they fit her really great. I did make 2 of them, and then we lost one her very first time she wore them. I think they probably got thrown out of the stroller on a walk. I don't know, but I think the one got thrown out of the stroller, but I can't find it anywhere. So I think I'm gonna have to knit another one. I knit this out of wool, worsted superwash in the Appalachian Stone colorway. Who needs show notes? Boom. So I have this much left, which is gonna be perfect for knitting another one. And it's pretty fortunate actually, because I knit the pair and they knit up pretty quickly. The first one that I knit, I messed up and I read the chart wrong. I didn't read it wrong, I just did the stupid thing where sometimes for a chart, it only gives you the odd rows, which are like the pattern rows. And you're supposed to, every other row, all the even rows, do stockinette. And that's something I was aware of going into it, but I just forgot to do it as I was doing it. So the second mitten, but I only forgot to do it like half the time. So the first mitten, this is the second mitten, the first mitten was like a half an inch shorter than it was supposed to be, but I didn't notice until I did the second mitten correctly that they were 2 different sizes. I tried them on Lucy and you could, like, it was fine. I wasn't really gonna do anything about it. I was just gonna leave it. But she luckily lost the one that I did wrong. So this is done correctly. And I'm gonna knit a second one also correctly. And it's got just one nice little fat cable running up the front and then a couple little mini cable twists things on either side of it. And then the palm is reverse stockinette, which I don't love. Honestly, I wish I would have just changed it to stockinette. I'm not a huge fan of doing stuff like this. I don't know. And like the thumb is reverse stockinette too. It just feels a little sloppy to me. It kind of like, kind of ticks at that inner like knitter's eye of mine where I look at it and I'm just like, something's off about it and I just wish it was stockinette, but I totally don't care. She's gonna grow out of these fast anyway and I can make her another pair and change it then. But hey, maybe I'll do stockinette for the second mitten and then they can be cutely mismatched. Probably not. So anyway, you can probably see that there's a major ladder in these mittens, and that's because I decided to do these with double pointed needles, which typically I wouldn't do. I kind of typically do magic loop for almost anything that you might do double pointed needles for, but I don't know, I was feeling kind of whimsical and I did double pointed needles, and that's kind of lame that that's what happens when I do double pointed needles on things. So I think for the one that I'm going to knit now to replace the lost one, I'm going to do magic loop. I think I would enjoy it better because it did get a little bit annoying. So kind of an FO tragedy. Now it's a whip again. Okay. Also, she really likes wearing them, which is awesome. I like give them to her and she just like wants to put her hand in them. I'm like, yes. Okay. Whips. What's the first whip I'm going to show you? I like to move from smallest to biggest. That's my order. So, living in my Emerald Fibers project bag is a pair of socks. If you did follow Vlogtober, you may have known that we went through a series of planned power outages here in my county. Many counties in California went through this. So our power company shut down power to a bunch of places periodically throughout October, pretty much into kind of chunks because of bad conditions. They were worried about wind and dryness causing fires caused by downed power lines. So in case that happened, they just shut down power to a bunch of people, and we were one of those people. So we went through a few evenings without power, which was fine. I mean, you know, we were lucky enough to have hot running water and a stovetop to use because that stuff in our house is gas. So it wasn't too much of a tragedy, but at night it was kind of fun because we just did stuff by candlelight. And I brought out some old vanilla socks to work on because I cannot work on anything except for vanilla socks when I'm knitting by candlelight, it turns out. So this is some West Yorkshire Spinner 4-ply. And this is in their like bird line, and this is the owl colorway. And so this is fingering weight sock yarn, and I'm knitting a big old sock. So this is a sock that I'm knitting for a friend of mine, and yeah, it's cool. I cast on 72 stitches with a size 1.5 needle, which is no, with a size 1 needle, which is still, it's bigger than I typically use. I usually use a 0. But I did top down, cast on 72, did a 2x2 cuff and heel flap and gusset, of course. And I'm at the point right now where I don't know if I need to start the toe or not. Probably I have more to go, but I don't want to risk it. So I need to try it on my friend, see if it fits, or see how much longer I have to do before I can start the toe. So these are on hold until I can get together with him and try it on his foot. So I'm using my Haya mini twist interchangeable needles. No, they're not Haya. I'm sorry. They are Chiaogu mini twist interchangeable neaters. They're my Chiaogu neaters. Needles. And I love them. They are my favorite sock needles. Yes. Let's get everything back in the bag, because if I get too crazy and just start throwing stuff around when I'm done talking about it, it's a big old mess that I have to clean up after I'm done recording. Everything's back in the bag. We're good. Moving on, I have some sweaters to talk about. So the first is a sweater that I cast on since my last proper podcast. You may have seen it in the Vlogtober vlogs if you were following along, but I'm knitting a sweater out of Moonstone Dyeworks in the Gemini colorway. I'm using my single ply merino base held together with my brand newish mohair silk lace weight base because I'm awesome and I gave in, and it's awesome and I love it. So this is what I have left of my first skein, so I'm probably going to have to break into a second skein. I am designing this sweater. I have never done that before, and it is fantastic and fun, and I'm enjoying it very, very much. So what I wanted was a top-down raglan V-neck. I wanted the V-neck to be as deep as I could get it without going down past the armholes. So I figured that out, and I'm pretty happy with the V-neck. And now I'm onto the body. I'm knitting this on US size 6 Haya sharp interchangeable needles. Here is the back. Now so far it's just plain stockinette. I've done some waist decreases, and I'm to the point now where I've done all the waist decreases that I'm going to do. I'm going to knit straight for a little while, and I haven't decided on length yet. So I'm trying it on as I go. And I'm either going to do it a little cropped and not do any hip increases and just do some ribbing at some point. Or if I decide I want to do it a little longer, I'll do some hip increases and then some ribbing and then pick up for the sleeves. And like I said, so far it's all stockinette. I haven't decided yet if I'm going to add any other design elements to the fabric. I don't know yet. We'll see. I'm kind of just going with the flow and doing what I feel like as I'm knitting the sweater. The main elements that I wanted was the fabric. I wanted this particular fabric at this gauge, and I wanted a top-down raglan v-neck. So that was my big idea. Now that I've done that, I can kind of do whatever I want, and we'll see what that happens to be as it happens. So I've really, really been enjoying working on this, and I love the way it fits. All right, that is that. I'm loving knitting with mohair. This is my first time ever knitting with that type of base. And the reason why I held out for so long was because I don't like the flyaways and stuff, and I assumed that that base would be very heavy on the flyaways and I would get annoyed and I wouldn't like it. It's not as bad as I thought it was going to be. There's been a ton of other wool yarns that I've used that are way worse. So it's not bothering me as much as I thought it would. It's not bothering me at all. And I totally thought it was going to. I'm super happy that it is not. So that is living in my Lost and Found project bag, which I don't think you can get. I think Lindsey of Lost and Found has kind of maybe stopped making bags. She's a designer, which she designs awesome patterns. Lindsey Fowler, hi Lindsey. But she made this bag for me, and I don't know if you can get her bags anymore. I kind of don't think so, but it's awesome. Okay, moving on to my next sweater project. This one is a test knit that I am doing for Becky Sorensen, who is another amazing designer friend of mine. And this is her Télégramme cardigan that has not been released yet. But I will tell you as soon as it is released, because you're gonna wanna knit it because it's so great. Here it is. I'm almost done. So it is a top-down raglan v-neck cardigan. I've got one sleeve done. I've got the body done. And I have that much done on the second sleeve. I am using La Bien-Aimé's Mondim yarn, which I adore, like hardcore adore. And this is the Quartz Fumé colorway. If I'm saying that right, I don't really know. Smoky quartz. It's purple and gray and it's gorgeous. So this cardigan has an all-over texture pattern, which will come back into play a little later in the episode. And it's got a cable detail that runs along the whole side and underneath the arm of each sleeve. And it's wonderful. It's a really great, basically shaped sweater. It's really like, on me at least, the size that I'm making, which is the smallest size that she's releasing it in. It kind of fits like this. It's really fitted. It's going to be cropped on me, and I'm knitting it exactly to pattern so that I can, you know, it's test knit, and that's what I, blah, blah, blah. Anyway, I love it. I'm using size US 3 needles, which is probably the smallest needle I've ever used for a sweater. And it's creating a fantastic fabric. I really like it. These are for my High Sharps interchangeable set. I've got the button band already done as well. So this is moving along pretty nicely. Like I said, I don't know when the pattern's going to be released, but I will let you know as soon as it is. I'm so excited to wear this sweater. I love it. Fat squirrel bag. Okay, my last project is living in my brand new Katydid project bag. Can you just see how amazing this bag is? For one, okay, so she sent me this bag as a gift, and I'm so excited about it. It's such an amazing bag. It's huge, it's enormous, and it's got these awesome play on tarot cards thingies on the fabric, and it's got an orange zipper, and she sent it to me during October, so it was perfect, and it's still perfect. I use Halloween-ish things all year round because I like that aesthetic. So that's a Katydid Bags bag. I do know that she is going to be offering more of these bags in her shop. I don't know when, but I think it's soon, but I will link to her shop in the show notes below in case you're interested in checking it out. because it's awesome. It's got moons and stars on the inside. Okay, thank you, Katie. So, my last work in progress. To purloin a phrase from my dear friends Kristen of Voolenvine and Nina of This Old Knit, I have started a husbeast sweater. I've never made a sweater for my husband before, and we have talked about it for a long time. I have told him I was going to do it for a long time. We have been kind of planning it for a long time, and I finally did it. Here it is. This is the husbeast sweater. So I've decided to, well, in collaboration, we have decided to make him, okay. No, I got stuff. I got it. I'm okay. We're good. There's just stuff everywhere. We've decided that I'm going to make him a, okay, let's start over. He wanted a shawl neck cardigan that's like nice and fitted and like kind of, you know, like nice looking, not like oversized and like schlumpy and cozy. He wanted something like nice and fitted and like long and slim that he can wear to work and blah. So we decided on the Little Waves cardigan, Little Wave cardigan. I think it's by Gudrun Johnston. Unlike me, very unlike me, I printed out the pattern because it's a Brooklyn tweed pattern and those things are hefty. Yeah, it's by Gudrun Johnston. And you know what's interesting? Okay, so the Little Waves pattern, I'm putting it on the screen somewhere, is a pattern that has an all over kind of lacy traveling stitch kind of pattern on it. And I was watching Voolenvine's podcast this morning, her most recent episode, and she's wearing a Gudrun Johnston pattern, a cardigan that I think has the same-ish pattern on it. It's the, what was it, the Fairmont cardigan or something like that? Fairfield cardigan. And I've always wanted to knit that cardigan. And now that I'm looking at this, this has like the same pattern on it as that pattern. Interesting. Anyway, I'm knitting the Little Wave pattern by Gudrun Johnston. And okay, so let me show you what I have so far and then I'm going to tell you what I'm doing. So this is it. I'm using Brooklyn Tweed Shelter. I bought a sweater quantity of this yarn, particularly for this sweater. Colin really likes Brooklyn Tweed, so this is the sweatshirt colorway. He agonized over which colorway to choose. He's not good at making decisions, neither am I. That's part of why it took us so long to figure out what to knit for him. He finally, after much deliberating and after much looking at Ravelry and other people's projects and stashes of different Brooklyn Tweed colorways, decided on sweatshirt, which is a pretty standard, like, cool gray with, you know, their kind of traditional flecks of darker colors through it. I had to buy, I think like, I can't remember. How much does it call for? Oh, tell me. Brooklyn Tweed Shelter. Okay, so the pattern calls for his size. I'm making him the 41¼ inch chest size. It calls for 11 skeins, about 12, because he's very tall, so I'm making it a little bit longer than the pattern calls for. I think like 2 inches longer than the pattern calls for. So I wanted to buy an extra skein just to be safe, so I bought 12 skeins of Brooklyn Tweed, which I have never done before. It was very expensive. Anyway, but it was exciting. I got to buy some shelter, and okay, so far I have, it's a bottom-up cardigan. I have the ribbing done. The pattern called for you to do something interesting with the cast on, which I've never done before. It had you, and special sauce, I mean, like, whatever. It's fine. It's not like how to make the cardigan. But she had you cast on alternately using the German twisted cast on and a regular longtail cast on. So I did it. Well, seems cool. And I've gotten about 1 centimeter into the actual patterning. I'm using a US size 6 needle from my Lick It interchangeable set. I had to knit 3 different swatches to get gauge, to figure out what my correct gauge was going to be. So I ended up, this is the one I went with. These were the first 2. With the needle size called for, it was just way too big. So I had to go down 2 needle sizes, which is very interesting for me. That typically doesn't happen to me, but I had to go down 2 needle sizes, and so I'm using a size 6. It calls for a size 8. And here are the pocket separations. Oh, very exciting. Right now it's at a very fun stage where it's just all construction-y stuff. I got a taco progress keeper on it because Colin likes tacos. Okay, so the big thing that I'm changing about this cardigan is it's called the Little Wave cardigan because it's got that patterning all down both fronts and the back, and then it's got garter panels under the arm. And it has stockinette sleeves. I kind of knew he wasn't going to like that pattern, so I suggested that I do something different, and then we talk about like what kind of all-over pattern he might like. He agreed with me. He did not like the patterning, so we ended up going with, inspired by the Télégramme cardigan. I showed him that all-over patterning, which is a broken rib, and he really liked it, so that's what I'm doing. I'm just replacing all of the pattern sections. I'm not doing the Little Wave pattern. I'm doing a standard broken rib, and it's way easier this way. My friend Jillian of the Good Witch Knits podcast told me that her partner is actually making himself a Little Wave cardigan as well. So I'd be interested to see how his turns out, Jillian, of the Good Witch Knits podcast. And I can't remember if I mentioned that. You should maybe show it on your podcast so I can see how that's going with his, so we can compare notes. But he is sticking with the original pattern, so his is probably a lot more involved than mine is going to be. But anyway, I'm pretty excited about this. I'm kind of feeling in the mode for gift knitting. I'm in a super sweater place right now, and so yeah, I'm excited about this one. I think it's going to be fun. And I have all 12 skeins living in this bag. It's a lot of yarn. Here's the one that I have caked up. And I love working with Brooklyn Tweed. It's a really nice yarn that I quite enjoy. Okay. That's all my knitting. I haven't crocheted or spun or sewn anything else. Just knitting. And I've been working on like these projects pretty exclusively because I want to do them. But I have done a little dye experiment that I'm going to show you. If you've followed along on the vlogs, you may have seen it already. But I tried my hand at natural dyeing, so I'm going to show you that now. So as Vlogtober was happening, I was watching 2 other Vlogtobers during Vlogtober. And they were Allie of the Little Drops of Wonderful podcast and Cherie of Bella and Ollie. And they both natural dyed some yarn with avocado. And so kind of Cherie did it, and then Allie did it, and then I was watching both of them do it, thinking to myself, I have a paper bag full of avocado skins and pits on top of my refrigerator that I saved for a little while, and that have been sitting there for probably a year. So I decided to go ahead and do it because I felt the self-imposed peer pressure of FOMO, and I did it, but I did it weird. So I used, I think it was like 5 avocado pits and skins. I also used some beet skins, and I used some red onion skins and a little bit of black bean liquid. And I don't know, I just figured I'd throw it all in there and see what happened. And this is what happened. So when I first made up the dye stock, so what I did is I put everything in a pot of water and I just simmered it for a really long time, and then I let the dye bath sit with all the stuff in it, and then I strained it, and then I took the dye bath and added, what is it that you use? Pickling salt. I forget what it's called. It has a name. I'm gonna put it right here. But I added some of that to the dye bath and then added my yarn. And I got this kind of like straw colored yarn. But it's interesting because the dye bath that I made before I added the yarn was a really rich, deep, like dark maroon, kind of blood red color. It was really deep and really rich. And after I added the yarn took on that color, but after a little while in the pot, it faded to this color, which was super interesting. And I gotta say, I was a teeny bit disappointed, but it's okay. It was an experiment. I don't know why that happened, but I did have a couple of suggestions in the comments. Thank you. Somebody said that red dyes in like plant material are heat sensitive, so if you leave them on the heat for a long period of time, they have a tendency to turn brown. So that could have happened. Also, Emily of Fibretown mentioned that she recently did some dyeing with black beans, and her instructions called for no heat at all. It was all cold processing. So maybe because I heated up the black bean, it affected it. But I don't know. It could be one of those, but it's kind of like a who knows kind of thing because, well, I don't know. I should say I'm completely inexperienced dyeing with natural dye materials. Completely. This is my first time. But what I do know from studying botany in college and chemistry is that chemical reactions that occur in nature and in natural products can change things instantly in weird ways that you may not expect. So something happened, who knows what, and this is what color I have. And it's really nice. I quite like it. I don't know what I'm going to do with it yet, but this is on, these are all on my Moonstone Dyeworks bases. This is the Merino DK. This is the Merino sock. So it's superwash merino and nylon fingering weight. And then this mini skein is Stellina sock. I should also say that I started this one out in a different dye bath that didn't seem to work with something else that had like a little bit of powdered dye extract, and nothing happened after a while. So I just added it to these skeins. So that could have been something too, like adding an additional outside element. Who knows? But so this was really fun. And I have the desire to experiment more with natural dyeing. I have an idea that I don't know if I'm actually going to do, but I think it would be really fun for Moonstone Dyeworks to put together mini skein kits of yarns that have been naturally dyed. So each kit would have like a different color tone, you know. I don't know, we'll see. I have no idea. But that was my experiment. It was super fun. I really liked it. So I don't have any new yarn going up in the Moonstone Dyeworks shop this week, but I did want to share with you my club. So I did my very first yarn club. It was a 3-month club. It ended in October. So everybody should have their yarn by now. If you don't and you don't want to be spoiled, stop watching, but I'm pretty sure you have it. So I did my first yarn club, and it was inspired by the Cosmos. It was the Cosmos Yarn Club, and I thought I'd share the 3 skeins of yarn that I dyed for that club with you now. I kept 1 skein of each colorway for myself, and I really loved doing this club, and I'm really in love with all the yarn. So the first month was August, and for August I did a colorway called Dark Matter. And I love it. It's really spacey and dark and kind of like dance hall-y. I don't know where I came up with that, but that's what it makes me feel like. So this is Dark Matter. And then the next month was September, and September is the month of the autumnal equinox, which is the beginning of autumn. And it's also the sky at that time of year is just absolutely beautiful if you have a chance to see it on a really dark, clear, starry night. So September's colorway is Stargazing on the Equinox. And I really love this one too. It's got some really nice autumnal colors and also some cool spacey colors. So that was September. And then October, which was the last one, is Death of a Star. I was really excited about that colorway name. So a supernova is when pretty much a star dies. And so I thought that would be a really cool inspiration because supernovas are amazing looking. We have a lot of pictures that you can see pretty easily on the internet of supernovas, and the colors that happen in supernovas that we can perceive are just incredible and amazing. So this one is inspired by supernovas. It is called Death of a Star, and I wanted to have kind of a lot of neon and black in here. Okay, so that's it. That's Death of a Star. So these were the 3 Cosmos Club colorways. I'm super proud of this club. I had such a good time doing it. And I definitely want to do more clubs. I think I want to do another one even really soon, maybe starting in January. So I don't know, I don't even have an idea of what the club would be based on yet. If you have any theme suggestions, let me know in the comments below, or if you would even be interested in another club. But I think I want to do it. I'm probably going to put up signups in December and then have it run January, February, March. So let me know what you'd be interested, what you would like to see, what you would think would be cool coming out of Moonstone Dyeworks. Okay, thank you for your input, and let's move on to favorites. I did not prepare anything for favorites. I keep doing that. Do I have anything I want to talk about? Oh, how about this? I do have something. Okay, so future knitting plans. I made a list of things I want to make. So, on my list, this is my little notebook that I keep in on my person. It's kind of like my daily stuff notebook, and pretty much how I don't see why am I doing what I like to do kind of week to week is do a little setup like this. It's my favorite section. I can do whatever I want. So up here are the dinners that I want to make that week, and down here are the things I want to get done that week, and then I spill coffee on it so it looks super gross, like that. So this particular week, I made chicken noodle soup, el pastor, carnitas, and fish tacos. Yay. And then I got a bunch of stuff done. I vacuumed, I mopped, I took out the trash, I turned my compost, and I photographed my Moonstone Dyeworks yarn. Anyway. I also have a list of things I want to knit. Baby mittens, crossed off, but I'm not quite done yet. A baby sweater, because Lucy needs a new sweater because she's getting a little big for her other sweaters. Baby socks, same thing, she needs new socks because her feet are getting bigger. Dishcloths, I would like to knit more dishcloths. A headband, I want to knit a headband for myself. Because sometimes when it's cold out and I go on a walk, I don't want to wear a hat because I have my hair in a ponytail, and I can't wear a beanie if my hair's in a ponytail. And I used to be really into earmuffs, but I kind of want a headband so that I can wear a headband instead of earmuffs while I'm wearing a ponytail. So what I want is just kind of something like that, thick, that goes around and clasps either underneath my head in the back or maybe up top, I don't know. But pretty much just something that covers my ears, because it's my ears that get really cold when I'm out on a walk and it's cold out. So I think it'd be cool to have a hat alternative, and I want it to be a headband. So I would like to make a headband. And what I kind of wanted to do was use these yarns. So this is the last yarn that I have left from my I almost said Rhinebeck. Did you go to Rhinebeck? Did you have so much fun? I did not go to Rhinebeck. I've never been to Rhinebeck, but I would like to someday. It's very far away from where I am. But I got these yarns at Stitches West last year, and I think this is the only yarn from Stitches West 2019 that I haven't used yet, so I really want to use it. Hey, Squirrel. Hi. So I thought I would maybe do a headband out of one of these. Oh, sorry, this is Farmer's Daughter Fibers in the Pishkun Mini base. So it's 100% Montana and Wyoming Rambouillet. It's a DK weight yarn, and these are half skeins. So I thought I wanted to do a headband in one of these. I can do a DK weight headband with 50 grams. I thought this might be a little too close to my hair color. I don't know. And then I thought this might be a little washy-outy. I don't know. So then I thought maybe I should do DK weight colorwork mittens with this yarn, but it's been just sitting out over here because I want to use, thank you, Squirrel. I want to use it, but I don't know what for yet. So anyway. And then a sockhead hat. I really want to make a sockhead hat. So I've never made one before, and I would like to do it. So that's on my list too. Those are things that I would like to make. Oh yeah, one last thing. You want to know what I did yesterday? I signed up for the SSK lottery, which I have done every single year since either the second or third SSK. I have only ever been accepted once. And I had to cancel because my dumb friend decided that he was going to have his wedding on SSK weekend. So I got accepted and then I had to cancel. Anyway, SSK is the Super Summer Knit Together. It's a knitting retreat that the Knit Girls of the KnitGirlls podcast put on every year in Nashville, Tennessee, and I've always wanted to go. And I just found out yesterday that signups, I think, are open right now as I record this on Friday, November, whatever. And I put my name into the lottery yesterday. I think I probably missed the vendor application, which if I wouldn't have missed the vendor application, I definitely would have applied to be a vendor. I've never vended at a show before, but I would love to vend at SSK someday. But anyway, did you sign up? You should, because if we get picked, we both get picked and we both go, we can meet and it would be so much fun. Oh, I want to go so bad. Do you want to go? Have you always have you been before? Tell me about it. I want to hear about it. Okay. Anyway, I'm going to go. And I hope you are all having a fantastic Friday or a fantastic weekend or weekday or whatever day it is you're watching this. I hope I hope things are really great where you are. Here, they're really nice and autumnal and rainy and foggy and dark and cold, and we've been having fires, and it's fantastic. I have been getting really into cocktails lately because Colin recently decided he wanted to have some martinis, so we got martini stuff. We've been drinking martinis, and then that inspired me to start drinking gin and tonics and vodka tonics. So I bought some tonic water from Fevertree, which isn't my favorite. I remembered after opening it that my favorite is Q. I think it's like Q brand or something, tonic water. But anyway, they're still really good. So I've been drinking martinis, gin and tonics, vodka tonics. I like them both. I've purchased some feta stuffed green olives, which are yummy. What else have I been drinking? I think that's it. But next up on our list of cocktails to make once we get some good whiskey are Manhattans, which is my favorite cocktail. If I go out for drinks somewhere, it's always the drink that I get. I love Manhattans. They can be made with either bourbon or rye. I like them with rye, and then they're with sweet vermouth and bitters and a maraschino cherry, and they're delicious. They're super good. So next up on our cocktail list are Manhattans. So anyway, I would love to hear about what you have been drinking or doing this autumn or spring. If it's spring where you are, is it spring on the other half of the world? I think it's spring. Can't remember, sorry. But tell me about it. I would love to hear. I hope you're doing well. And if you enjoyed the video, please feel free to like and subscribe and check out the Vlogtober videos if you're interested. Join in on the flashy make along. And have fun and stay awesome. Bye.